Hello guys, I am CTroid47 and today I'm going to be doing a dramatic reading of Twilight Sparkle Goes to Bed.
That's gay!
Yes.
You introduce me that way.
Okay, voice in my head.
You're a faggot. You're like, you know they could hear me probably.
Well, probably faintly.
Whatever. Captions. Just shout it up, mumble, mumble, mumble.
Or maybe just
Whatever. I'm not typing it. Whatever. I don't exist.
Okay. Goodbye, voice in my head. And hello, Twilight Sparkle. Now, logically, this should be, I'm sleepy, I'm in bed, ZZZZZ the end. But nope. This person thought that it would be a wise idea to extend this. So is it? Let's find out. Twilight Sparkle Goes to Bed. Chapter the first and only. Bed. The thought hung in Twilight's head, refusing to rid itself to make room for more important matters, such as her recent study on the ceremonial rituals of griffins during the month of August. No. This time, the thought of her bed beckoned her, enticed her with the warm comfort of a soft mattress and sheets, wrapping around her like a cocoon. Tonight was special. Tonight, Twilight wouldn't just be sleeping in her usual bedsheets and feather-fluffed pillow. No. Tonight, she would be welcomed by the warmth and comfort of freshly dry-cleaned bed linen. The smell and sensation of freshness would entice her to a sleep of wonderful and unimaginable comfort. Twilight tried to ignore the incessant beckoning of the bed's thought brought forth. It sang to her, like a siren's call. It wanted her. Its only desire was to embrace her. It sat there upon the pedestal of the second floor and waited, watching her movement with pleading puppy dog eyes. Are you sure that's not Spike? There was only one solution to this problem, and that was to go to there. Twilight stood up and stretched her legs, looking over her cluttered desk. This evening's study session has been particularly intense, and it showed. Books lay strewn across the immediate area, accompanied by various scrolls and scrap paper. She sighed deeply. With Spike out of town for the next few days, it was up to her to make sure the library stayed clean and organized. Bed will need to wait until she had finished cleaning. With each book she placed in the shelf and each scroll she righted, she knew that her inherent desire to return to those lustrous sheets.
Righted? You mean written?
Yes, voice in my head. That's a grammatical error.
On that note.
The thought of slumbering in that epitome of comfort pleased her, chilled her in the most satisfying of ways. She could feel the promised warmth creeping over her entire essence of her very being, turned towards her final goal. She smiled at the accomplishment of cleaning up her work desk. Now she knows how every Mexican feels. Now she could claim her prize. Each step towards that godly gift was an ascension unto no other. Only the stairs remained to be conquered, and she would. 1 step, 2, 3, 4, 5. She hadn't taken the trash out. Twilight sighed deeply, a feeling of emptiness growing inside as her prize slipped out of her grasp. Yeah, the voice in my head is kind of loud. If you ignore it, it'll go away. She trotted down the stairs into the kitchen, tying up the plastic garbage bag with force. It groaned in protest as the knot tied to its extremity. How do they groan? Twilight frowned at the garbage, levitating in front of her as she wandered to the front door. Lesson would need to be taught to this bag, for it was being so rude as to not take itself out and ultimately inconvenience her. Yes, garbage bags can just walk out whenever they feel like it.
Isn't it a Pokemon?
Probably not.
Voice monkey. Burgers.
I was totally not picking my nose right there. She set it down next to the mailbox with a scowl. That'll show it. She closed the door behind her, sighing in relief. Now there was nothing standing between her and her bed. That wonderful warmth positively glowed at the top of the stairs. The mutual desire between pony and bed filled the air, each silently calling for each other. She smiled happily as she began her trek towards the stairs again. This time there was no stopping her. There was nothing left to do. Nothing that couldn't be completed, and the more she hasn't fed Owlicious. Twilight cursed under her breath. It was a terrible thing to forget to feed a pet. She would be very lucky if the owl was alive at this point. Yet she argued to herself that having a bird that was so silent during the day was easy to forget his very existence. That was until he was needed. She shook her head, wandering back to the kitchen. She could feel her eyes drooping as her desire for freedom went further denied. She opened the pantry, looking around for the unopened box of Flim and Flam's Owl Pellets that Spike had bought before leaving for whatever business he had been assigned to. Probably more Phoenix kidnapping. Where was it? She could swear the darn pantry's inventory changed every time she opened the door. The owl pellets weren't in its usual place. They were supposed to be on the second shelf, next to the salt, but not near the pepper. The pepper was supposed to be on the third shelf, so they couldn't mix it up. On the other side, the pellets was supposed to be her favorite cereal. So, I'm sorry for reading this. Celestios. Instead, there was mandarin-flavored jam. Twilight growled under her breath as she began systematically rearranging the pantry in hopes that she would find what she was looking for, so she could ultimately dive under the covers of her freshly cleaned sheets. A familiar hoot sounded behind her, and she whirled around quickly to see her owl standing on the bench besides the box of owl pellets. Twilight gave the bird a deadpan glare as she hurriedly pulled the bowl from the windowsill with her magic, filling it to the brim with food, before forcibly placing it back to its original position, taking careful note to place it exactly where she found it, right down to the centimeter. She ignored the bird's gracious hoot as she swiftly moved from the kitchen, banking around the corner, and stopping in the middle of her living room, looking around anxiously for anything else that might have been forgotten. There was no time or desire to remember something halfway towards her glowing prize of commodious beauty. Teeth. Teeth! It was lucky she had taken the time to remember, otherwise this menial task would have been for naught but another obstacle to overcome, and an irrelevant nuisance. Briskly finishing the task, she smiled widely. Now she was ready to claim the prize she had been waiting for so long. It has been too long, too far away. Now it's within her grasp. She would claim it without any further restrictions. 1 step, 2, 3, 4, 5. She was almost there. Wow, that's a very short staircase. Her mind happily whirred that she has not forgotten anything further. 10. She was halfway there. There it was. She could see the one framing that held her goal, an ultimate desire. Nothing could stop her now. 19, 20. There it sat, shining brightly in a heavenly glow as a chorus of angels sang sweetly to her. They were probably singing something from Metallica or something, beckoning for her soul to finally claim the prize that she has earned. Her accolade of perfection. Her grin widened to a blissful smile as she slowly pulled open the sheets, lay down and snuggled to her bed. Sighing wistfully at the scent of a freshly cleaned linen filled her nose, adding a wonderful sense of euphoria, the feeling of irreplaceable and indescribable comfort, which she knew would only come again, once they had been washed once more. She closed her eyes, a low moan emitting from her lips as pure bliss washed over every fiber of her body. She snuggled in the blankets, pulling them closer to her, wrapping herself thoroughly in the illicit warmth they had promised for so long. It's just as she envisioned. No, it was better. The utter desire she held for so long made it even more warm, comforting, and accomplishing to have finally claimed her prize. She stopped, her eyes shooting open. I have to pee! Well, that was a very wonderful end to a fantastic reading, wasn't it, voice in my head?
I wasn't really listening to it, but yeah, it sounds like something about her lips. Sounds like a lot of crap.
Not even close. Anyway, this is Steve 147, signing off.